Your favorite local grocery stores like Kroger, Ralph's, Fred Meyer, and more are now delivering on Uber Eats. Get 40% off your order of fresh, quality ingredients. Whether you just got home to an empty fridge or suddenly got a craving to whip up something new, you can get everything you need delivered in as little as 25 minutes. Get 40% off your order with code Kroger2026. Plus, members get $0 delivery fees. Order now on Uber Eats. Orders of $30 or more save up to $25. Ends 4/30/26. See app for details.
Last night, you spent 2 hours deciding what to wear to the party. This morning, it'll take you 2 minutes to list it on Depop and make your money back. Just grab your phone, snap a few photos, and we'll take care of the rest. The sheer dress and platform heels you'll never wear again? There's a birthday girl searching for them right now. Your one-and-done look is about to pay for your next night out. Or at least the ride home. Your style can make you cash. Start selling on Depop, where taste recognizes taste.
Listen closely, because that was the biggest mistake you ever made. In that one single moment, you were vulnerable enough to actually tell you what means the most to you in this life. And now that I know that, I am going to ruin wrestling.
It's the show that celebrates WWE. It's Gorilla Position.
Hello, you, and welcome to Gorilla Position. Thank you very much for hitting the download button on this, your pro wrestling / sports entertainment podcast of pleasure. My name is James D'Lo, your host and your guide through the wonderful world of WWE. Thank you for tuning in to this episode 367 of the biggest and best WWE podcast in the UK. The show that takes you closer to the action, the adventure, and inside the stories that drive this fascinating art form. It is Wednesday, 26th of March. WWE's European tour has been going great guns, sold out crowds everywhere, wild fans, loads of noise, but many engaging stories. John Cena, his heel time is now, but did his second appearance from the dark side shed any light on his motivation? Punk, Rollins, Reigns, a three-way dance in Vegas. The stage is set, but will this power trio be the headline act? And what else makes it into my intro? That's right, the superstar that had a very venti night Monday in Glasgow. Drink him in, man. El Grande Americano has arrived. And they've arrived in the studio like a pair of mocha frappuccinos. They're chocolatey, they're creamy, they're ever so dreamy. Mekz and Skills are in the house.
That was amazing.
Can I?
Just let the theme tune finish. You all right, boys?
Yeah, okay.
What were you going to say, Skills?
I think Mekz was going to say
Oh, sorry, Max. What were you going to say?
Yeah, I was going to just correct you that apparently today my name is Matt.
Matt?
Matt.
It is.
Oh, you've got your Starbucks in front of you. They've written Matt instead of Mekz.
And I told her my name's Mekz, and she goes, "Okay, Matt." And I said, "Yeah, that'll work."
That'll do.
Wow.
I thought you were going to say, I'm going to correct you on one thing there. I don't identify as a mocha frappuccino.
That'd have been great.
So how are you, boys?
Yeah.
Skills,
right.
are you feeling better?
Feeling much better than last week. I'm still quite ill. Like, I haven't fully recovered.
This annoys me because I was going to ask you as I came into the studio, are you free of disease?
I don't think I'm fully free of this. I think I'm nearly there. I think I'm like 85%.
Brought the lurgies with him.
I've got a phobia of being sick, and you were sick last week.
I was really bad last week, so that's the reason why.
When was the last time you vomited?
Oh no, I haven't thrown up. I haven't thrown up at all. I've just been really weak, really fatigued.
I
really
even
sick.
text you. Right, let me.
Okay.
Right, I remember our messages. I said, "Have you been sick, or is it the other end?"
I said,
and
sick.
you said sick.
Yeah, but I didn't mean throwing up sick. I was like very weak, very fatigued.
So like flu-y type.
But
fine.
bad sore throat, bad cough, chest infection. I think I had a chest
that.
infection. I think if I'm honest with you,
You've got long COVID.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
So I made you thought I was throwing up.
Yes.
I think other people thought that as well.
Well, if you say you've been sick, that's if you lie to people, then
Do you know who used to throw up? Droz.
God rest his soul.
Rest in peace, Droz.
And do you know what? Talking about that, I saw a lovely clip. I put it on GP's X, but Conrad Thompson was interviewing D'Lo Brown.
Oh yes, yeah.
And they were obviously naturally talking about Droz and everything that happened and that accident many, many years ago. And D'Lo Brown started talking about being in the Hall of Fame. And he said he would only ever say yes to being inducted into the Hall of Fame if he could induct Droz at the same time.
That's actually really
nice. And it got me give me
Yeah.
goosebumps saying it out loud again.
Very sad, that situation.
Oh,
you can tell that
absolutely
really
horrendous.
that stays with D'Lo for the rest of his life.
Well, of course.
Yeah, that
It's
really
just
affected him.
Such a
Yeah.
tragic tale.
Yeah.
Speaking of tragic tales, Mekz, how are you? Sorry.
I'm doing well. I'm doing fine, thank you. Can't complain. How are you?
You say you can't complain. I feel like we might be complaining a bit today.
Yeah, that's true.
I think just to pre-warn people, I think we might be negative ninnies on this
A little
this
bit of a
week's
moan
show.
today, aren't we?
Let's have a bit of moan, but let's try and put some positive spins on it. The big question, though, as we always start the show with, if you could take one WWE superstar for a bite to eat and a drink here in the UK, where would it be? Where are you and who are you with?
I would take Yokozuna
To an all-you-can-eat
to
buffet?
all you eat buffet because he will know the best ones, and I will have a great feast.
So even here in the UK, you think Yokozuna would know
He
the
would
best
know because they've travelled a
all-you-can-eat
lot.
buffets?
They've travelled a lot throughout the years.
Yeah.
So his memory would be like, "Oh, I remember this place in Wembley, near Wembley Stadium when we performed."
He's made those towns.
Yeah, and he'd be like, "It was a great all you can eat," and I'd be like, "This is great for me because I can eat all like a you have a great time, Yoko. So would I because yeah." So Yokozuna would be my choice.
He's made those towns. He's hit those buffets.
Yeah.
Okay, Yokozuna at an all-you-can-eat buffet. I mean, it makes sense. It works. Mekz, where you going? Who you with?
I'm thinking. Well, I'm just going off what his Waffle House order is, which is just obscene amount of food. Jey Uso. So I'm just thinking where to take him though, but it's a guy that can eat. So, and I like my food as well. So
Who went to a Weatherspoons recently? Was that Sasha Banks?
Yeah, that was
Sorry, Mercedes Moné.
Yeah, Mercedes Moné. Yeah.
Correct.
The absolute state of her having a full English in a.
it's the state of whoever sent her there.
Can you imagine how disappointed she would be?
Oh, she was fuming.
Like, I imagine Mercedes Moné is a proper, like, smashed avocado on sourdough with some poached eggs and, like, the proper,
Yeah.
the good stuff.
fancy, healthy, good stuff breakfast. But to get a Weatherspoons,
Who recommended that?
That's the
Full
criminal.
English?
That is the criminal.
That's bad.
that is bad.
What about you, James? You
I
didn't
don't
you didn't answer your own
know.
question.
I don't know. I hadn't actually thought of an answer myself.
Who had a chef gimmick? Anyone had a chef gimmick in wrestling? No, not really. Is
Not
it?
that I can remember.
That's interesting. Maybe I can't remember. Maybe there have been, but
It feels like mid-90s. There should have been a chef. yeah. There was everything else. So why
Everyone else
wasn't
had a
there
job.
chef? Oh God, where can I take people? Well, it would be a diner. Oh well, hang on. In the UK, what's a great breakfast place in the UK? Breakfast Club. Yeah.
That's all right, yeah.
Breakfast Club's really good.
Okay, we'll go Breakfast Club. It's not my favourite, but we'll go Breakfast Club with Ron Simmons.
Damn.
Exactly. He'd like the breakfast that much. Isaac Burnett emails us with a big question. Panicking Ben on the buttons there. Hi all, just on my way back from WWE live in Nottingham, main evented by Cody and CM Punk. I know, insane tag team. But I was wondering what would be the most high-profile tag team of all time and what would their name be? Buzzing for Mania. Thanks, Isaac. I mean, immediately you start thinking of like your Steve Austin and Triple H. tag
trip.
teams, don't you? The power trip.
Was the question who was or who could be?
Who would be the most high profile tag team of all time?
We saw Roman and Rock last year, right?
So Roman and Rock.
That's pretty up there, isn't it?
Up there.
If we see Cena and Rock,
Cena and Rock would be great.
if you think about mainstream proper crossover entertainment stars,
That's the one.
It doesn't get bigger than Cena and Rock, does it?
Yeah, that's the one.
And what were their name presumably would be Rock and Soul.
Rock
and Soul. I get
Right?
it. Yeah. Skillit doesn't get
Can
it.
you better that?
Why Rock and Soul? For Cena and Rock.
He wanted his soul.
He sold his soul to The Rock.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I thought he was going to say something like, you can't see Rock? That's terrible.
Yeah, well, producer Ben, make a note of where we're going to edit that out.
What about, has Prime Flair and Prime Hogan ever tagged? I don't know if they have.
Certainly not Prime. They never even had a match, did they? When they were meant to.
They had a match
8.
in '94 in WCW. It wasn't Prime years, but it was.
I mean, it was pretty close to Prime years, but I mean, when it should have happened, WrestleMania 8.
Yeah, you're right.
But no, I don't recall them ever
I don't
tagging.
think so.
Certainly not in their prime. So thanks for that email, Isaac. And I'm just while we're talking about emails, keep them coming in. Hello you at www.gp.co.uk. I feel like over the last couple of weeks, there's been so much to talk about, and we haven't really got to many, but I'm going to try and fit quite a few in today's show. Just to sort of build on what we were saying, I'm feeling a bit down on WWE this week.
Okay.
In terms of box office and general interest in the product, obviously the boom period is still very much booming. But I feel like the creative boom of Triple H, I don't want to be one of these people that just said, it's over. It's rubbish now. Of course not, because as with everything, and certainly as with something that runs bloody every week of the year, there are, of course, going to be highs and lows. There's going to be peaks and troughs. But I feel like the creative boom has waned a little bit. I feel like there's a lot I'm not particularly interested in when I'm watching week to week. And I think it's just highlighted so much because we're on the road to WrestleMania. And every year it feels like the WrestleManias are going to be the biggest of all time. WrestleMania 40 was in terms of all the metrics that they measure it by. This year should supersede what we saw last year, but I think creatively we're kind of nowhere near where we were last year. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I would say so. I feel like the big heel turn really took a lot of. It made all the eyes go on the product. Everybody was so excited going into the Mania. It could be like it was booked perfectly. That we have to say that heel turn was one of the best heel turns ever done.
Absolutely.
So I feel like everybody was so amped. And since then, and this is not about Cena. I kind of still like what Cena's doing.
Which we'll talk about.
But everything around it hasn't come to that level. Nothing else has been really risen for me to be really intrigued into this WrestleMania, in my opinion.
Okay. Mekz, do you agree with what we're saying? Do you disagree? Are you still enjoying the product?
I watched Raw, which we'll talk about later, and I was down about it and SmackDown from last week. Yesterday, I was more optimistic and said, okay, well, they could do this, they could do that. So I'm trying to find, the goodness in between. But, a lot of people saying online that most bookers have, the best part of 3 to 5 years before they start running out of ideas. And I think with Triple H, we're kind of approaching the 3-year, 4-year mark since he's been writing these stories now. So maybe he and team is feeling a bit exhausted. Skillit, you put an application to become a writer into our group the other day.
I was more saying James should go for it. I was more saying that.
So maybe they're looking for people.
And yourself, Mekz, and yourself. I think you guys were coming with some really good ideas.
But on the other side, though, when I was thinking about this as well yesterday, if you think of Mania last year, you had the Bloodline saga, which was obviously top level, involved a lot of people. You had the Judgment Day stuff, and was Damian Priest going to cash in or not? There was like another 12 matches that weekend, and the builds for those weren't particularly much of anything. Some trickled down from the Bloodline stuff, like Jimmy versus Jay and stuff. But yeah, it's like, how many times do we get a build where everything is, spot on?
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. When you look up and down the card, it's so hard for everything to be firing on all cylinders. I totally get that, but I don't know if it's a bit of a fallout from Cena, very much at the top of the card, and if that feels a bit underwhelming creatively, does that trickle down somehow? And does everyone start getting a bit negative about what they're seeing? I don't know. Chris Rawlinson, long-term listener of the show, has emailed. He says, "Hi James, hope you're well. I'll try and keep it brief." He hasn't. On Friday, 21st of February edition of SmackDown, The Rock appeared after a late advertisement and delivered the infamous "I want you to be my champion / I want your soul" promo to Cody. Cue the IWC, including me, quickly resorting to criticising The Rock, Triple H and WWE and even Cody. We were all bemused, if not a little frustrated. Fast forward to Sunday, March the 1st, Elimination Chamber. We were all witness to one of the greatest heel turns of all time. And no, sorry, I misread that. We were witness to the greatest heel turn of all time. Yes, it was the greatest. All was forgiven. We were all buzzing once more for what was to come, including the build to WrestleMania. Since then, we've had 2 Cena promos, both very good in my opinion. However, for those unhappy with a lack of change of character and change of look, I say tit. Trust in Trips. We have Cena for the entire year. Why did he side with The Rock? When will he change his look? Will he change his look? When will he verbally eviscerate Cody on the mic? Will he retire? Will he still retire? We will find out. The WWE knows what they are doing, as does John Cena, as does The Rock, as does Cody Rhodes. Come Monday after Mania, we will once again all be in shock, I'm sure. My point is we need to sit back, relax, enjoy the product that brought us to the dance in the first place without pulling it apart every week in, week out. I often think back to the height of my fandom. There was no internet, never mind social media. The TV product was all that mattered. I think we need a bit more patience as the new regime has a proven track record.
Yeah, okay.
Mekz has got his hand up.
Go on, Mekz.
Chris, it's kind of our job to pull it apart. In case you weren't aware.
I hear what he's saying. There is still time. I mean, I think maybe certain things they want to do, they can't pull the trigger on yet because they're doing the European tour. They might want to save certain things to get certain stars that can make it. You know, maybe The Rock will come back before Mania. You know, maybe Travis Scott might make another appearance. I mean, a lot of stuff needs to be explained with certain things that's taking place. So maybe there's certain things they want to save, but when they're back in home soil in the US.
Well, let's save this. Let's save the Cena chat for later when we're talking about Raw. But SmackDown on Friday night, overall, I wasn't invested in a lot of the show.
No, same.
It went by and I was like, okay, nothing's really been furthered. Things are being furthered, but not in an exciting, engaging way. Randy Orton and KO promo. Any huge takeaways from this?
Kevin Owens asked him to be in a tag team with him. Like that was about it.
Well, at least that was a bit of a twist, like in the story. Actually, I'm glad you reminded me of that because as he said that, I was like, okay, I didn't expect KO to come out and try and form a team with Randy. At least that was a bit of a twist. Yeah. But ultimately, he said no, and he's going to kick his head off. Mekz, are you still of the opinion that you can't really place where this match is going to be, like creatively? You were a bit unsure as to what the match will...
Yeah, I just feel like, this was such a heated feud, especially when Randy Orton got written off TV. KO even coming out and asking to do the tag team stuff. It's a bit of comic relief, but, we should be past that at this point. Yeah. And, like I was saying last time, for the actual match we're going to get at Mania, I'm not looking forward to it per se. So we'll see what happens on the night.
It's been a funny thing actually, because if you think about the way this story has come about, he took Randy Orton out with that pile driver. Mm-hmm. And that was in November, I think, so months ago. And Randy Orton's been out since then. And then KO went into the program with Cody, and then into a program with Sammy, both of which were very strong indeed and ended in pretty incredible matches. So actually, it feels like KO and those opponents have become such a big thing that the fans adored. Mm-hmm. Now that Randy's back, yes, Randy got the big pop and he's a legend and all that thing, but actually the fire between these two isn't what it was between KO and Cody and Sammy.
No. I think a lot of the feuds that we're seeing, it's not personal enough, in my opinion, and it's in different examples of different feuds. A lot of these, they need to really start ramping it up and make it a bit more personal.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't really have that for me right now, especially with Randy Orton and Kevin Owens.
So next on the show, Damian Priest and Jimmy Uso defeated Drew McIntyre and Shinsuke Nakamura. Drew beats down Priest after Damian Priest got the pin on Shinsuke, obviously. And again, I mean, we were sort of praising this story between Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. I saw an interview with Damian Priest getting annoyed with people for, people rubbishing this feud because, everyone wants more from Drew McIntyre. What are you laughing at?
No, go ahead.
Did Max just fart?
No, not at all.
I heard something, and then you looked at each other.
No, I looked because I kind of agree with the people. That's why I laughed, because I agree with the people.
And we've said the same thing.
Yeah,
it's like Drew McIntyre had such an incredible 2024. However, what I will say, and I think we said on the show last week, Priest also had a really great 2024.
He did.
Like, maybe not as on fire as Drew.
Yeah.
But we did praise this last week because they did a great job in that recap vignette where we were all reminded that actually, hey, these two have been pretty intertwined for the last 12 months.
Yeah.
So it does make sense to be I know, Mekz, you want Drew versus Roman. But, I think there is a story to tell here, but
how
again,
they're telling it.
It just hasn't caught on fire for me yet.
Yeah, you can't drop that great vignette the week before and then you put these two in a tag match with two other people that really aren't doing much of anything that we're not overly invested in. It's a backstep almost from the vignette, and then we still have 3 more weeks. I don't know how else we can get personal with these guys and take it to another level. Yeah, it's just kind of petering out, waiting till Mania, really.
Because we've already got to the point where Drew is he's taking Damian Priest down. He's screaming in his face, going, "I will take you down. I will keep knocking you down until you never get up." It's like we're already at that stage. Yeah. There's still 3 weeks to go, as you say, but just not a lot of meat on the bones.
No,
at all.
We're having a tough time this week, aren't we?
I'm struggling.
Yeah.
I'm struggling.
That's because you're still ill. brought the lurgy into the studio. Cue the cough. Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair, they had a split screen promo. Now, this was an interesting one because I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
It was a good couple of minutes of TV. I thought the exchanges were good. It was heated. Charlotte pretty much destroyed Tiffany Stratton. It didn't do a lot.
Which is not good.
It didn't do a lot to help Tiffany Stratton. Stratton is nowhere near as confident as Charlotte Flair on the mic. Charlotte was like so quick in her responses, delivered some great lines, so confident. She talked about the crowd reaction. They're either booing or wooing. Like, they're reacting to me. But again, as I said in last week's show, they don't know each other. Mm-mm. It's got really heated really quickly, but there's no real story.
No. I thought they put these two together to kind of elevate Tiffany, which is probably is the plan. But I can't stand promos when wrestlers tear somebody down. That doesn't matter if you know I'm going to lose. Oh, I'm going to lose, so it's okay. I can say this because she's going to go over ultimately. But I don't know, there's certain things where it's like when you really make someone look not strong, or you highlight that somebody's not really strong on the mic, there's something about that irks me a bit. I was a bit like that with McIntyre with Ricochet. Ricochet's not strong on the mic, and McIntyre
shut up, then.
You destroyed him.
When was that? I don't remember.
It was an episode of Raw, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2019 maybe.
McIntyre just killed him, and obviously, but it's just I don't know. It's for me.
I get that.
Yeah.
I really get that. There was part of me, and I'm a big Charlotte Flair fan. I really genuinely think she's one of the greatest of all time. There was part of me that was thinking, right, Tiffany, you have been thrown in at the deep end. You're facing Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. This is the sort of opportunity the company's giving you. You need to hang with the big dogs.
Yeah.
Like,
sink or swim.
It's sink or swim. And part of me is thinking maybe it's a test for Tiffany, and maybe she needs to go through this. Maybe Charlotte genuinely is not helping her much. I mean, she's certainly not helping her much on screen, but maybe that's sort of by design.
Yeah.
Over the last kind of 5, 6, 7 years, I've seen a lot of people online, fans hate this split screen interview thing. And I didn't really understand why until I saw it on this past week and how it doesn't work necessarily as a format. Like, it's not good. You know, there might be like a delay on someone talking and this, that, and the other. There's been a lot about it. And I think maybe I remember back to, was it Seth Rollins and Matt Riddle when they had one, and I think the interview was finished and then Seth Rollins kept going and he insulted Matt Riddle's family or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
That was all right. But in this particular instance, I don't even feel like Charlotte Flair was like out of second gear. Like, this was just very easy for her, and you could see
so easy.
Stratton was like trying to get pumped up and was kind of shouting like it was an argument sort of thing, and Charlotte in just her poise was just there and just not fazed by anything that she was saying. And yeah, this was a real test, and I don't think it did anything for Tiffany. She didn't pass the test, and we're still looking at someone that is the champion not looking strong going into Mania.
It really felt like a bit of an unscripted, and I know promos generally are more unscripted nowadays, which you know, in the main I think is a really good thing. But it felt like she was thrown under the bus a bit, because she had that one line which she ended up just repeating a couple of times, which was, you pour cold water on whatever's hot.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, obviously we get the meaning behind that, but it's not a particularly strong line.
No, it's not.
It doesn't really, it doesn't make Tiffany look strong in any way. The fact that she then didn't have a follow-up, she just repeated it again.
They didn't protect Tiffany.
They didn't. They didn't. But, you know, maybe that was... And the fact that Charlotte was just sat there really confidently, really chilled.
This is it.
Just her demeanour didn't do anything for Tiffany, because it currently feels like Charlotte doesn't see it as a big challenge ahead of her.
Yeah. Tiffany came across like a bit of a schoolgirl in the playground arguing or something like that, while, you know, Charlotte, like we say, if this was even like a contract signing, they were across the table from each other and Tiffany was kind of losing it, and then Charlotte can just be like, look at you, like, I've got you rattled, I'm in your head and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, Tiffany just absolutely almost lost the plot, maybe the guidelines of the script and where she was supposed to go. I thought Charlotte just looked so superior to her in every way in this.
I felt they did well with Tiffany last week when she did the Sabu spot, when she did the moonsault,
the swanton off the
thing. That was pretty cool. But yeah, going forward now, they need to really start taking care of Tiffany.
Well, it was cool, but like, yeah, you weren't his skills. We were talking about that, and we were like, yes, that was a cool spot, but it felt too much too soon. It's like these girls don't know each other.
I heard you say that last week.
Why are they brawling all around the arena and taking over the show?
Totally agree.
Going back to the split screens, by the way, Brett versus Steve Austin back of the day.
Legendary. When Mekz was talking about that, that was in my head. That was in my head
The Brett and
straight away.
Steve Austin ones was just so good from, I think, 96, 97.
Yeah.
And then the other one that pops to my mind is, I think, possibly one of the best ones they've ever did was Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar.
Did he do a split screen?
They did a split screen, which ended up, I think, Joe saying, "Oh, I'm coming to find you," and it was just the way.
I remember that. I miss Joe at WWE.
I miss Samoa Joe.
Oh gosh, what could have been?
It's such a shame that after he left WWE, he just retired and didn't do anything.
Stop it.
I'm doing it for a laugh.
He's been world champion since then.
Yeah, I know. That's hilarious.
Was he?
Yeah.
I'm joking. Braun Strowman defeated Jacob Fatu by DQ. Braun was attacked by Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga, giving Strowman the disqualification win. As a result, Strowman becomes the #1 contender for the United States Championship against LA Knight, which I think is happening this week.
I believe so, yeah.
Skillit smiling.
I just don't get this booking. I just don't get it.
Well, the one thing that came from this is obviously, with Braun getting that DQ finish because of Solo's interference, Jacob Fatu was nil happy with Solo.
Oh, okay.
So
that you guys are right then.
Yeah. So that
right.
I get that totally. Whether that means we're going to be hot enough with this to go to a solo Jacob match at Mania, I don't think so.
8-man US title match.
Everyone who's not on the card, put them in the US title.
LA Knight, Braun Strowman, Nakamura, Solo,
Jimmy.
Jacob,
Yokozuna. Wrong.
Jacob, Solo, Jimmy. So that's 6. What, Tama? Might have thrown Tama in there. And
Gonna make it a battle royal at
who will
this
be
rate.
8? There's someone else. Miz. Why not?
Carmelo Hayes.
Carmelo Hayes.
Andrade.
Oh yeah, Carmelo Hayes.
Santos Escobar.
Andrade can sit back. But Carmelo, and I love Andrade, but he hasn't done anything on
Yeah,
TV
he hasn't
for a
done
while.
nothing.
So yeah, maybe Carmelo Hayes. Yeah.
Okay. So, anyone particularly excited about the US title picture currently?
Not really.
What should we just back up and go? Ben, play the theme tune.
It's just like what's happening. LA Knight, like you said, he's won it back when he probably didn't need to. Should have been moved up the card in some people's opinions. And it's just like the contenders. It's just like no one's really exciting right now for it. People have said, of course, Jacob Fatu, but like you rightly said, Jacob Fatu doesn't need to win it. Doesn't need to win a title just yet. So. Yeah, we're looking at a multi-man situation.
And we're not, just to say, we're not being negative for negative's sake. Like, something has clearly happened to make us all be thinking, and I think it's the time of year. Like, if the product was like this in May, June, you'd sort of expect it.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a fallout from Mania. A lot of, the draft happens, whatever. The piece of the puzzle is still falling into place. There's some troughs after the peaks of Mania. But the fact that we are, it's April in a few days. And maybe it's the fact that Mania is happening so much later this year.
I was just going to say this.
That probably hasn't helped.
Rumble was in February, which doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Elimination Chamber pushed back, obviously, subsequently, and then Mania's been pushed back. Yeah. Do you think that's probably had an effect on the booking?
Absolutely. They would have... I think a lot of the big points that they want to get to would have already been, we've already seen already. You know what I mean? And I think that it's got to wait until certain things. I don't know. The delay is definitely not helping with the writing. I would say that for sure. And I don't know. For me, it's not one of the worst WrestleMania build-ups. I wouldn't go that far, but I'm definitely not as invested as I thought I would be after Elimination Chamber.
But I think it comes from a couple of such wonderful years.
I think
do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like when you talk about previous Mania, I mean, some of the dross we've had to live through.
Yeah, it's true.
Like it's been appalling, but that's what we were used to, and we were like, oh, okay, well, we know it will be great on the night. And generally it tends to be great. But I think because we are so used to the brilliance of creative nowadays in the modern Triple H era, it just does feel a bit disappointing when it doesn't quite work. Liv Morgan defeated Jade Cargill, kind of with the help of Naomi, who then beat Jade down afterwards.
Nice homage to Owen Hart.
Oh, Owen
Caution.
Hart.
The caution.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was
nice.
That was nice. That was probably the best thing about this.
Yeah. Excited for Jade and Naomi?
I wasn't expecting Jade to lose.
Is this a Mania?
I think it has to be.
It's Jade and Naomi having a singles match, I mean, definitely.
And so is Bianca out of this storyline now?
For now.
So you think they are going to circle back to Bianca?
Absolutely.
Because,
especially Bianca as the women's champ. Maybe not at Mania, but maybe at a rematch or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tricky, isn't it? Because like the highs of that promo, I thought it was really, so good. We talked about it. Everyone was talking about Naomi and that being her moment. And it's like, right, this is something we can get our teeth into.
Yeah.
And then since then, I feel like...
Yeah. Like I said, homage to Owen Hart. Do you remember when Owen Hart, after the Montreal screw job, had that promo with Triple H? And that was the best promo, one of the best promos Owen Hart's ever made. And everyone was excited, like, oh my God, they're going to book Owen. Owen's going to be the guy. and ever since then, there was nothing. And he lost to Triple H at Mania. It was over for
I
him.
always remember at was it In Your House, D-Generation X, in the December after the screw job.
Yeah.
And Owen attacked Sean.
Brilliantly.
Knocking him off the apron.
To the announce table. Yeah.
After the Ken Shamrock match. And it felt so it really felt like it wasn't meant to happen because the camera didn't quite pick up Sean going through the table.
Yeah.
And it felt so unexpected and so real.
And then nothing after that.
No, but what I was saying is it's tricky because you get the highs of the promo, and then I feel like this story, especially because Bianca's gone into this three-way situation in what I would say is a bit of a flat feud. Like, it's brilliant seeing her and Rhea tear it up, and we know the chemistry they have together and the fact that they are two proper superstars. But just the involvement of Io Sky and just pushing her face away week after week. Yeah. I just that hasn't been the greatest storyline. So to see Bianca shift over there and then Naomi and Jade carry on, but in a less exciting way. I'm sure, as you say, Skills, there's a lot of great stuff to come.
Yeah,
but it's hard to. This is okay to highlight my frustration. Whether it's a TV series, a film, whatever. A storyline is meant to build. Yeah. It's meant to build to a crescendo. Yeah. And what I feel with so many of these stories is it is going up and down. Mm-hmm. It's hot 1 minute and then it's really flat the next. It's like they have to map these stories out so it builds and builds and builds and builds. Yeah. That's my problem with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're absolutely right.
This Naomi and Jade stuff. So Naomi's got the upper hand finally in the feud. Since then, they've been having Jade, Naomi, and Bianca been going back and forth on socials, like insulting each other here and there, and it's been picked up by fans. So hopefully they build that into it as well. I think we need to get to a point where we need a match between Naomi and Jade. Yeah, I would say just right now it's still just animosity between the two. So yeah, I think it's once. If Bianca is to win the title, and then we're on the other side of Mania, is when this story is really gonna kind of catch flames.
Can I say that I don't think Jade versus Naomi in a one-on-one match feels Mania worthy right now?
That's fair.
Yeah, right
now.
I think that's fair.
I think if you look at the story and how many months has been going on and the promo we got, once they package that up into a promo, you could say, that's a WrestleMania story, definitely. But where it is currently, I think it feels a bit flat.
That's totally fair. Yeah. They haven't really, there's some stuff that, we're seeing Naomi come out of her shell a bit more and, she attacked Jade and looked a bit more vicious and stuff, but there's still a lot of work to do in order for us to be really invested. That promo is not enough. It was a great promo, great segment, one of the great segments. We all agree with that.
Elimination Chamber, you mean?
When Naomi and... The elimination moment.
So
was
the week
great.
after Chamber,
and after Chamber, when they had when the reveal that it was Naomi.
Yeah.
That was all great, but they still need to do a bit more.
Needs to build.
100%.
Needs to build. Should we just pack up and leave? Better play the theme tune. By the way, this is something I thought about this week, and so it made me want to read out this email from Josh Trickett. Hello, you, me again. I emailed about something separate earlier last week. Oh, okay. Sorry. I missed that one, Josh. But just been catching up on Smackers. I can't help but notice how dead the crowd are with these new entrance theme songs for some of the superstars. Zelina and Street Profits, for example. Their music hit and the crowd is just silent. And I have to say, when the Street Profits, who were announced as brand new tag team champions this week on SmackDown, so I was watching on my phone. I was walking Digby at the moment. I was in the middle of a field, so it was a really quiet area. But I stopped because the crowd was silent, and I was like, are they trying to make the Street Profits look bad here by silencing the crowd or something? But then they got into it and they were chanting, "You deserve it, you deserve it." But when the music hit, nothing.
Their music's terrible.
Absolute crap.
But you agree, right?
It's bad. I heard the music and I messaged in my friend's group chat. I was just like, this is rubbish, but I'm okay with it if this is a heel turn.
Exactly.
But it's not.
It's not. And it's funny because the whole internet must have thought the same thing, because I think later on that night, one of these dirt sheets must have reported that Street Profits are still listed on the internal roster as baby faces.
Yeah. It's like you gave them back there was their first title win in 4 years.
Yep.
They look good. They're looking more vicious. They look the presentation. They're looking a bit more serious. They're not jokey like they usually are. I don't know why they're scared to make them heels. I know you made the point earlier in a few episodes ago that they tried and it didn't really work. Yeah. But make them heels because it's just I don't know what this is. This new theme song
they
sucks
tried
as well.
and it didn't really work. I'm sorry, they didn't try hard enough.
No, they didn't. No,
the
they
Street
didn't.
Profits can be incredible.
Exactly.
Heels. They can do whatever you want them to do. They are amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that Zelina Vega, that music she came out to, is the music for like, you know, when they're having intervals on SmackDown, when they're showing the city that they're in and stuff like that.
Oh, no.
Like that background music.
Are you joking?
I'm about 99% sure it's that same. I think it's it's a Megan Thee Stallion song, and yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like generic SmackDown music.
Isn't the Megan Thee Stallion song the theme song for SmackDown?
Yes.
Yeah. That is.
I'm pretty sure that is what they played on Friday.
If that's the case,
That's lazy.
can you imagine Zelina coming out to that and just thinking, you know, clapping the fans' hands and thinking to herself, the absolute state of this. What are they playing?
Whether they played the wrong song or something, like that is what they played on
It's like in
Friday.
2001. It's like Tori Wilson, everybody, the beautiful people, the beautiful people. It's like what?
Yeah, at least that's a tune.
Yeah, that's a good
That is
tune.
very much a tune.
But yeah, it's part of making people stars. Like you think of Austin, the glass smashes, crazy,
Yeah,
like
100%.
The Rock, and
we need to talk about this, guys. Wrestling theme songs in WWE today sucks.
Well, this is okay.
What is going on?
Well, this is Josh's email. So he finishes saying, so they came out, no reaction, especially when you compare it to the likes of Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, which are all pre-Def Rebel. What are your thoughts on these generic sounding tracks? Loving the pod as always, Josh Trickett. P.S. I'm finally invested in Naomi. There you go. But it's so true. Like, and this is what WWE has always been spectacular at, is building a brand around a talent and making a superstar. Like we see it with the Titantron graphics, the entrance theme, the outfit, whatever it is, their mannerisms when they come to through the curtain. And it's like, so many times I think, oh, it's too engineered, it's too theatrical. Like it's not like you want to see the real people behind these characters. Yeah. So I think there is a middle ground, but I think, like Austin, Bret Hart, all the absolute greats in the industry has ever seen. And look at the current greats, as Josh says here, your Codys, your Rocks, your Cenas, like you know, it's like these generic tracks. Like everyone, if you were gonna try and make everyone be as popular as they possibly can be, they need to market them in every aspect of their presentation.
Yeah, they're fighting an absolute uphill battle, especially like we're saying, these mid-card people that are, especially they've been there for a long time and they're trying to take the next step up. I'm thinking particularly of like Dakota Kai. She's had a lot of singles matches recently and having good matches. But when they're saying Dakota Kai is coming out and that music, whatever the music is, it's like no reaction. She wins the match, everyone's happy for her, they play her song, and then it's like, oh, like I can't get behind this. Right. So it's part of the presentation. They go so hard on their gear and naming them and Titron and you know the kind of stuff they do when they come out and greet the fans. Like this is part of it. We can't drop the ball here, sort of thing. It's happening far too frequently now.
Yeah, it's very true.
Tax Act understands you haven't memorized the tax code. That's why Tax Act has live experts to help. Tax Act can even do it for you if you prefer. It's the easiest way to know you're doing it right. Well, other than going back to college and obtaining a bachelor's degree in accounting with a minor in finance, then interning somewhere and becoming fluent in all tax forms. But that might be hard to accomplish before tax day. So maybe just stick with Tax Act. Tax Act. Let's get them over with.
We all have that dream trip we've been wishing we could go on. But too often, life, or usually price, gets in the way. That's why Priceline is here to help you turn your dream trip into reality. With up to 60% off hotels and up to 50% off flights, you can book everything you need for your next adventure. Don't just dream about that next trip. Book it with Priceline. Download the Priceline app or visit Priceline.com and book your next trip today.
Go to your happy price, Priceline. K-pop Demon Hunters, Haja Boys breakfast meal and Huntrix meal have just dropped at McDonald's. They're calling this a battle for the fans. What do you say to that, Rumi?
It's not a battle. So glad the Saja Boys could take breakfast and give our meal the rest of the day.
It is an honor to share.
No, it's our honor.
It is our larger honor.
No, really. Stop.
You can really feel the respect in this battle. Pick a meal to pick a side.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. At participating McDonald's while supplies last.
You don't wash your jersey during a win streak. You don't switch seats when your team's up big. And you definitely don't shave during the playoffs. When things are working, you don't change them. That's why when you drink Jägermeister, you drink it ice cold. Anything else? Well, that'd just be bad luck. Drink it cold or don't drink it at all. Jägermeister. Damn, that's cold. Drink responsibly. Jägermeister liqueur, 35% alcohol by volume. Imported by Mast Jägermeister, U.S. White Plains, New York.
Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins. They had a brawl, essentially, to finish off Smackers. The boys are shaking their heads.
I didn't like this.
I didn't like it either.
This was garbage.
It didn't work.
Jeez, what has happened?
It didn't work for me.
Are all the writers just jet lagged?
Well, there's
the
a reason why they posted let's get a new writer in WWE. 'Cause they know. I don't know what's happening, man. That promo was very disappointing.
So Roman came out and this is on SmackDown, right? Roman came out and he said Rollins tried, or no, he started with Punk. He said Punk he screwed me over at the Rumble, so I screwed him over in the Garden. Rollins tried to kill me, so I tried to kill him in the Garden. And then that brought out Rollins, who effectively said, we go back a long way. This business is not big enough for the both of us, basically. And this is what sort of annoyed me. He said the story between us two has a lot of chapters, but I think there's more story to tell. And I was thinking when he said that, I was like, don't tell me there's a story. Tell me a story.
Yeah, show me.
Like, tell me a story. Yeah. Don't just tell me there is a story.
Yeah.
And then that brought out Punk. And Punk was really getting in the groove with his promo. I was like, okay, this is getting interesting. Because he said, FYI, Roman, if it wasn't for me and me saving your family's ass in War Games, you know...
Said you wouldn't have even made it to Rumble.
You wouldn't have even made it to Rumble. Yeah. And I know you haven't been in a Rumble for a long time.
But that's the object of the rules of the game.
I didn't screw you. Yeah. It's every man for himself. Like, everything Punk was there, I was like, right, this is good now. Yeah. This is good. And then he said, oh, and Paul Heyman, don't forget, I've still got that favour, but that's not for now. But in the meantime, can I just say thanks for
serving him up on a platter.
Your tribal police up on a silver platter. And I was like, oh, this promo is getting somewhere. And then he just attacks Roman. And I don't know what the story is.
Yeah.
There isn't one.
No.
There isn't one. This is what I've been saying. You can't put all of these guys in like they have better stories when it's Punk and Rollins and Roman and potentially Drew, who I've been lobbying for. Like to put them all in here as it currently is. And I think we can kind of build on this when we talk about Raw and Punk's promo on Raw. But as of Friday, like this was just like, and the worst part, they're having these scraps and then pausing to point at the WrestleMania side.
Oh, that was
you lot are grown men. Yeah, you lot are grown.
That was very
well. As Punk says, he's still working with children.
Not in this company, but
that was very Vince McMahon booking.
Yeah, like
that wasn't good.
Is Vince back?
I think so. Under different guys, maybe.
El Grande Americano.
El Grande. One thing annoying me about this thing is, the pull apart fighting. I just wasn't convinced by it. It just didn't look good.
It's too much.
It's
too
much too soon.
This is like any combination of these guys, like Roman versus Seth. More interesting.
Yep.
Seth versus Punk, 1-on-1, more interesting. Punk versus Roman, all better storylines potentially. Because, and I did say on last week's show, we were talking about, it was interesting how the Rumble winners, where they were in their current feuds versus
Elimination Chamber
winners who are in much more interesting feuds. And we said, because it's all storyline driven. And we were talking about this potential three-way. But that's because I felt like we were going to get more story.
Yeah.
And another week's passed, and I feel like even though Punk, out of all three of them, is the only one I feel like trying to tell a bit of a story.
Yeah.
Because he meant, and we will talk about Raw, but during his promo on Raw, he talked about how he brought them both into the company. And
Finally.
Then Michael Cole said, yeah, Punk brought the Shield in many years ago. But then, I don't want to say a throwaway line, but it wasn't built upon at all.
Yeah.
It can be. And that, I guess, gives the excuse for Roman to then come out and say, yeah, you said you brought us into the company, but actually you didn't want to bring me into the company.
Mm.
But I forced my way in, and look at me now. I'm a much bigger star than you ever were. Look how many WrestleManias I've headlined, and you've never headlined one. Yeah. So there is, we could get some really interesting stuff here, and I really hope we do. But it just, to me, there's no substitute for a straight one-on-one match. And I feel like this is a really good example of listen, it's going to deliver on the night.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's no way these three gentlemen could have a bad match. But story, like I just watched this and I was like, I'm watching Roman, Seth, and Punk tear it up, and I'm not that interested.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Isn't that crazy?
That is very crazy.
And that's not our fault. That's not our fault.
Yeah, it's been very, very weird. And like I said, the pointing to the sign in the middle of the fight really kind of took me out of it. Like, I just don't know why we're doing that. Like, all now, the match hasn't officially been announced.
No.
So it's
It
like...
has.
They said they're doing a contract signing.
No,
they did announce it. They've announced it. Since the pull apart, they've announced it. Yeah. Wow. One thing that kind of annoyed me as well. This is very minute thing to pick up, but
this is the week to do it.
Like Punk and Seth and Drew have done a great job of making me feel like these guys hate each other throughout the whole feud, right? So when you're watching it, you're thinking, there's some truths being dropped here, or this is how they really feel. When I watched this segment and Reigns was in the ring, and then his music gets cut off by Seth, and he's like, I was like, okay, you're playing along. Obviously, we all know that there's nothing real between Drew and Seth and Reigns. But he's like, him and Heyman were like, I just got cut off. And then when Punk's music hit, I thought Seth was going to deliver a really good, like, I'm angry that Punk's cut me off again.
Yeah.
When Seth did it, I was like, nah, this just looks like you're all this pally. Like, you've all made up backstage. And this is like, I'm not buying any animosity here. I'm just not buying it.
Right.
And this is not, it's not working for me. This is at the moment.
No.
Could get better.
And the annoying thing is, this will probably main event night one, it feels like.
I think it should.
I can't quite imagine Roman not being in a Mania main event.
Yeah.
It definitely shouldn't, by the way.
Well,
not yet.
But why? Because my point is, it shouldn't main event because I feel like it's a waste of Punk's first WrestleMania main event. That, to me, is such a big story. This feels like a poor substitute compared to what it could be if it was him chasing a title, like winning the Rumble and going on to headline WrestleMania the old-fashioned WWE way and winning the title in the proper main event.
I do kind of agree with what you're saying, but then Punk could also, on the flip side, you could say to Punk, well, Punk's main event 2 Manias. He's main event 2 WrestleMania because he ain't got much time. Let's be honest. Like the clock is ticking. So you kind of want somebody of that ilk to have more than one WrestleMania main event.
So okay. Well, that's fair. There's an email here from Leo in Reading, and he says, "Hello to James and all the crew. Now that the triple threat match between Punk, Reigns, and Rollins has been confirmed for Mania." It's been discussed between you, Mekz, and Skillit in recent weeks that you don't think it's a worthy match for Punk to main event Mania with, and it shouldn't be the last match on night one. I respectfully disagree, as we have to accept, to your point, Skills, that Punk is not a spring chicken anymore, and with his recent injury woes since he came back to wrestling, there's no guarantee that he'll be fit and healthy come next year's Mania to potentially face Cody, as has been suggested. I believe Punk has said in the past that he just wants to main event Mania, whether it's for a title or not. And as a fellow diehard CM Punk fan like James, give him the night one main event this year, and hopefully he makes his peace and finally achieves his goal. That's Mekz is still shaking his head. I mean, that's a lovely way to look at it, and it's like, to Skills' point, and Leo from Reading, like, I think that's a good point.
I was thinking, if we were doing GP in the year 2000, and Mekz would be like, Mick Foley shouldn't be a part of that 4-way.
I love Mick Foley, to be fair.
This shouldn't be his main event, man.
Yeah.
You know what? Like, I understand, and it was a very well put email, but I'm not here for the charity stuff.
Okay.
Like, we all want Punk to main event. No one's saying he doesn't deserve it or anything like that. It's how he gets there, which I think is more important than just kind of shoehorning it in. And it's the risk of the game you play, you know. Like, injuries happen. You might not get to, you know, main event. Look at the I always remember back to 2015, the year Seth Rollins was having world champion, US champion, one injury on a house show derailed all of that. He didn't make it to Mania. Like, these things happen. I don't feel like we can just be guaranteeing stuff. You know, AJ Styles has come out and said he's only got 2 WrestleManias left. Do we put him in the main event too?
No.
No, we definitely shouldn't be wasting AJ. And I say wasting, like, it's my opinion. I don't think we should be wasting Logan Paul and AJ Styles when he's got like 2 WrestleManias left. That's not a wrestling-centric match. I want to see AJ Styles on one of his last WrestleManias potentially. Will be a great match, but
I can all but guarantee AJ Styles versus Logan Paul at WrestleMania will be AJ's best WrestleMania match ever.
It probably will. It probably will.
It will be.
But name value wise, like, again, like, we can do charity work there and prop up AJ because it's one of his last Manias. Like, where do we draw the line if we're here doing charity work for these guys when they know what they've signed up to?
So what you're saying is it should be a proper title hunt story with Punk next year.
Yeah.
Or they should have done it this year.
Yeah.
But then when Cena's in the picture, it's difficult.
It is. I just feel like that's how Punk would have wanted it as well. Yeah. And this is like a second place trophy almost.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Raw.
But before we get to Raw,
have you got a?
It's not a random question.
Well, how disappointing. Okay.
Let's talk about Hall of Fame. Did you talk about Hall of Fame last week?
So, class of 2025, Triple H headlining.
Yes.
We've got the Natural Disasters.
Yes.
We've got Lex Luger.
Yes.
And we have Michelle McCool. Lest I forget Michelle McCool.
So far. So I guess
right? Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it'll probably be a bit more.
Thoughts? What did you want to talk about?
Well, Lex Luger, I'm very happy that he's been inducted, man. I think he deserves it after everything he's been through and everything. You know, his health issues and some bad reputational stuff that he went through himself. But it's good that he's given this.
That he's
achievement.
acknowledged.
He deserves it. He's a pillar of one of the that WCW, like, you know, when you think of a company, you think of certain wrestlers like Sting, Flair. Luger's in there.
He's absolutely up there.
So I'm happy to see that. Natural Disasters, I'm happy as well. I'm happy they're getting there, especially John Tenter. He definitely deserves it. So, so it's good. It's good. I'm glad to see, these names getting...
The Natural Disasters, you can talk to anyone about, like, old school WWE, like, heyday back in the sort of late 80s, early 90s. People knew Earthquake and Typhoon.
Absolutely.
Like, big, to our point earlier, big characters, so marketable. I mean, we've got them, on the shelves here in the GP studio. The classic WWF characters.
Yeah.
So absolutely they deserve their rightful place. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good night. Yeah. They're holding it in the official WrestleMania hotel,
Fontainebleau.
The Fontainebleau Hotel on the Strip. So,
do you guys have any ideas who else do you think they might induct? Who should join this class? Do you think? Who would you like to see join this class?
Shall I tell you who?
Yeah,
D'Lo Brown and Darren Drozdov.
That would be lovely. Yeah, that would be
good shout.
Yeah,
good shout.
Like Darren Drozdov just deserves it. I just think that would be a really lovely moment. But it's a difficult one because I can see from WWE's point of view is like, do we want to highlight this horrendous accident that happened in the ring? It's just going to bring up a lot of not bad sentiment because it was an accident, but it's just it's not a nice thing. But I would love to see that one day, if not this year.
Mekz?
No one that immediately comes to mind.
I understand. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Should we just pack up and go?
Yeah, I think so. This is the worst episode ever.
No, it's not. It's fun. Even when things are bad, things are good.
Okay.
John Cena.
Yes.
Ding, 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 ding. So I can actually be somewhat positive on this.
Go on.
So
you're wrong, but go on. That's probably enough of that.
I was down when he came out and started the promo. It sounded very like last week in Brussels. But then he got to the point of number 17 and that he wants to win number 17. He went on to the point of how, you know, he's going to ruin wrestling, which I thought was a good line. Yeah, good line and stuff. And then he talked about retiring as champion, which we've discussed before, taking the belt home. Obviously, he talked about the spinner belt as well, bringing back the spinner belt as well, which obviously got fans irate and stuff. He talked about retiring, taking the belt home, and being the last real world champion, which I thought, going forward, if he wins at Mania, is a fantastic moniker to run with. You know, introducing from West Newbury, Massachusetts, 250 pounds, the last real world champion, John Cena. Like, I feel could really irk people for you know, a substantial amount of time. So the first half of the promo I wasn't really with. Like I said, it was a bit samey. The second half I was really with. Then Cody, again, it's the Cody coming out and greeting fans like, you know... Bro, you said you're going to rip this guy's head off. Like, greeting fans, coming out, and then it's like, you know, you're in a fight with someone. It's like, go on then. Like, you're waiting for them to throw the first punch. But you, the one that's giving it the big one, that you're going to do this, you're going to do that. I just want to see John Cena, and still nothing. So, yeah, it kind of peaked for me with John Cena's second half of his promo and then went back down with the Cody stuff. But yeah, I think there's some good to come out of this still.
Before I give you my opinions, isn't it mental to think, like 2 years ago, if you'd have said this, or so 2 years ago, if you'd said next year, heel Rock would headline WrestleMania, and then last year, if we'd said heel Cena would headline this year's WrestleMania.
I know. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's actually crazy.
Like, it really is crazy. I did nil think this was good.
Right.
I'm really sorry. I was very sort of positive about the promo last week because I thought the promo itself was so expertly executed, like so well done by Cena. And we said, like, one of the best promos ever, really, in terms of its execution. But the substance of it, the content of it, didn't quite add up. Mm-hmm. And this week, for me, it was more of the same. And again, like in Brussels, there were some great lines. I loved how he said, "I'm going to ruin wrestling."
Me too. That was my favourite line.
I love, "I'm going to take the title and retire." All that stuff I really like. But why is this happening?
Yeah, the why is still missing.
The why is still missing. And I'm sorry, if you're Cody Rhodes, like, yeah, to your point, he wanted to rip his head off a couple of weeks ago. And that seems to have disappeared because now he's just, you know, going in and cutting promos, but nothing else, not wanting to get physical. But also, surely if you're Cody, the first question is, why Cena, why?
Yeah.
Like, you've got to answer that. And I just think,
I hear what you're saying.
There's no development, no proper explanation. There's actually no depth to this
at the moment.
All he's
still gotta
doing,
wait.
Yeah, okay.
We still gotta wait. I feel.
Rock.
I agree with you
Rock
guys.
has got a hell of a job to do if he's going to come in and make this something before Mania.
Well, I feel
he's
like
got a hell of a job to do.
I feel like the last 2 weeks has exposed that The Rock was lying about this. This was all built up back in. When
I knew
Black Blood?
this day was coming.
He didn't know.
No, he didn't.
Because they haven't followed up properly. I understand Cena's unique perspective as being a heel in this, how he wants to do it in a different way. He doesn't want to do the cliche, the why, Cena wife, and the reason why the answer's not even being answered, the question's not being answered at the moment is because that's so cliche, it's so 90s, the why, Cena, why. Even him not changing his theme song, even him not changing the way he looks, just coming out doing the same thing. I think he definitely wants to do something different with this, which I do respect and like, and he's got some really killer lines. But yes, you're right. A lot of it doesn't really make sense because of how vicious he was on the night when he turned.
Yeah. That's the thing.
It's like that's where I'm a bit like, unless he's saying all this to be vicious again. Which I think that's where they're leading up to. I think he's saying all this stuff about, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that, but then he's going to become that badass, not in terms of changing the way he looks or his music. I think that's still going to stay the same. But that vicious side that we saw on Elimination Chamber will return again.
Do you think?
I think so.
Because currently there's a massive disconnect
Definitely.
between what we saw on the 1st of March and what we've been seeing over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And it just feels a bit hollow to me. And there are so many aspects of it I love. Like those moments I just mentioned, and I love the fact he's still wearing his same gear.
Yeah, me too.
Like one of the key bits of Russell's, which I thought was so well done, which none of us saw coming, was what do we get?
Yeah.
What do we get? It's, you want me to be a cool heel, essentially, he was saying. But no, this is me. That's my music. This is my gear. You don't get anything because you don't deserve it. I loved that. But it's just the fact that this seems to be based on his hatred for the fans, who for the last decade have treated him like an absolute legend, and who he's had a great relationship with. Like this promo has come far too late, this story has come far too late. If indeed it is going to be just about the fans, like him complaining about the fans taking the piss out of his spinner belt, give it a rest, mate. Like.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
Shallow.
Like I'm really it's shallow to me, and I worry that it's not going to have any more depth. I worry that he's just going to slag off the fans, but then he's going so hard on the fans. Is there any turning point? Like how is he going to switch back, or is he not going to switch back?
I don't think he is going to switch back.
He's either he is going to switch back, or if he doesn't, then maybe he's not retiring this year and it's just going to go a bit longer. To your point, James.
I think he will retire this year.
He will.
I think he will.
I
think that. So he said December is going to be my last.
Yeah.
I don't know what date.
What are you going to say?
I was going to say, to James's point, that yes, there's been good lines through some of the stuff he's delivered, right? But ultimately, if he would have just stayed a babyface and him and Cody would have had like a kind of just two honourable men going like, this is what it is. I won the Elimination Chamber. I'm going to fight you at WrestleMania. Done a couple tag matches together on TV or something like that, just as two big baby faces going into the main event. And maybe the turn should happen in the main event. John Cena turns and does something dastardly to get the win over Cody. Maybe that would have been, even more impactful sort of thing. That he cheated to win at WrestleMania, as opposed to when he's done it now and we've got this current lull ultimately. And what I was kind of looking at over the past day or so, next week in London is John Cena's last scheduled date on the road to Mania.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
After the 31st, the next day we're supposed to see him currently is Mania. So for 2 weeks in between, what are we doing for this story?
Well, we might get pre-recorded stuff.
Yeah, we probably will.
I don't want to jump too far ahead because they presumably have plans to push this story forward over the next couple of weeks or the next few weeks on TV.
Go on.
No, go on.
They may have made a mistake here. They probably should have just went full pelt, heel Cena, faction, NWO style. They probably should have just done it. So don't get me wrong. I think it's smart what he's doing because obviously, ultimately, at Mania, Cena's getting booed, and that's what they want. They want the Cody. They don't want no fans turning on Cody. It's gonna work, but the excitement from Elimination Chamber to now, we shouldn't be in this situation right now. We still should be very hyped. I mean, I think we're all quite excited to see the main event. Don't get me wrong, but we shouldn't be having this conversation.
To my point earlier, it should be building.
Yeah.
It should be
100%.
building every week. And to your point about like maybe this wasn't the plan, do you think there was any panic and last minute we need to do something with Cena if Rock maybe wasn't going to wrestle at the show?
I think so.
Because
I'm sure the report was that they wanted Cody to turn. And Cody said no. And then they offered it to Cena, and Cena was like, all right then. Like, pretty much on the day. Like, I'm pretty sure there's been reports about that.
Because the thing is, like, if you're not going cool heel Cena, you're getting Cena playing the sort of same Cena we've seen over the last 15 years, 20 years, but slagging off the fans to ensure he'll get booed again. Basically, what I'm trying to say is with The Rock not wrestling, they needed a big heavyweight marquee match for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And that is John Cena. But they can't put Cody in jeopardy and have Cody possibly being booed as their, going forward poster boy.
Yeah.
So maybe the only solution is to have Cena do all this stuff and turn on the fans and blame the fans. Because if he did it in a different way, because my view was, because we were talking about how interesting the press conference was and how we loved the idea of him just getting desperate and him slowly turning because he's getting desperate to win that title. And then I love the idea of him selling his soul to The Rock eventually because he couldn't get it done or whatever it is. But it's sort of subtle turn. It's a really interesting story. Whereas what this does, I guess, is guarantee that he gets booed.
Yeah.
Because it's simple, it's straightforward,
and he'll be bringing back the gimmicks, bringing back all the stuff that he was beautiful in his original Cena run, Super Cena run.
I just
So,
but it just for me currently, it feels like a massive waste of the best heel turn of all time.
Cena has to go over, right?
Yeah, he has to.
He has to, right?
He has to.
Yeah.
For me, next week there has to be a pull apart brawl.
I agree. Something. Yeah.
If this is going to be their last meeting in face to face in person, we need something.
And if Cena's going away after next week in London, The Rock needs to either be there in London or certainly the following week so he can fill the gap and give us the why.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're missing. Sam Greenway has emailed. He said, hello, you. I'm the guy that messaged in January who assumed CM Punk would win the Rumble. Still in shock it didn't play out that way. His first Mania main event has to be for the title, not this triple threat, just to our point earlier. On board with Cena, though. Didn't work this week. Sorry, what he's saying? On board with Cena, though. Didn't work this week. It was a repeat of last week. Generally, across the board, the storylines are too weak. But, like you always say, Triple H will get it right, so keep the faith. Cheers, gang. Sam from Bromsgrove. David Williams emails. I said that as Ben was changing a battery, so he was on the other side of the studio. Hello, you. Watching Raw from Glasgow as I type this. The segment that opened the show, John Cena. Talking down the fans again, saying the same thing he did last week, only wearing a different piece of merch. Interrupted by Cody, white meat babyface, defending the fans. Cena walks off without saying a word. Too formulaic. It's too repetitive. We still have had no mention of the final boss or how and why he plays into this situation. But I guarantee you he will show up for the go-home show before WrestleMania. After Chamber, this feud, or the idea of it with Cena's turn, was the hottest thing in years. Personally, I'm losing interest and investment in the story. We are going to get exactly. Are we going to get exactly the same in London next week? Thoughts? Keep dropping the Partridge reference, JD. They're first class. Thanks, David. Cheers, David. Lovely stuff. So we're not alone in this thinking.
No.
It is bothering people.
Yeah.
Like, to me, I'm like, again, to my point about Punk and Rollins and Roman, looking at those three megastars having a pull apart, and I was like shrugging. Yeah. This is for you, David. I was Alan Partridge shrug gif. Like that, I was watching this Cena promo and I was like, okay, same old. You're not giving me a story here. What am I?
Yeah.
There's no hook.
They should have just ripped off NWO. Because think about it. If the dates where Cena can't make it, remember those classic NWO vignettes? The following announcement has been brought to you by the New World. And it's black and white, and he's just in the back with him. It could be him, Rock, and Travis just in the back, and he's talking a bunch of smack. Like,
the issue is Cool Hill. You make him Cool Hill and you put Cody Rhodes in jeopardy. That's the issue why you can't do that.
But, sink or swim, baby. Sink or swim.
Well, maybe to that point. Like, if we'd got that, because that visual, I remember saying at the time, Travis Scott, Rock, and Cena at the end of Chamber.
Yeah. So cool.
I looked at that, I was like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And like, there was even a cool shirt from it.
If they're going to sell a ton of merch, like,
yeah,
all the money comes from the same place.
Like you said, James, I think if John Cena isn't about after London next week, then Rock has to come in and do a job. And with what we'll get onto with Punk, I think maybe they are going to use Punk here as well to possibly fill a gap with his story. So
yeah, that's a good point.
I think the Cena stuff next week just has to be so strong, him and Cody, because if he is going to take 2 weeks off before Mania, then that ultimately the story's on pause.
Like we got at Chamber, we didn't mind waiting a few weeks to see Cena again because what we got at Chamber carried us through. Yeah, it was like that was such a moment. So you're right. Like in London, something big needs to happen. There needs to be some big development with this story.
Yeah, I like what you said about CM Punk because you can have if Cena wins the belt, when's Money in the Bank? You can have a rematch of Cena and Punk.
Yeah, that's later down the line.
So that'll be in July.
Yeah, that's a bit far.
Well, but
it can still work.
Punk and Cena and Money in the Bank, that has to be in their plans.
Yeah.
Has to be.
Yeah.
Cena has to beat Punk, sit on the barricade, blow a kiss, and walk out. He has to. Yeah. He absolutely has to.
I love that.
It's so true.
I love that. That'd be great.
He's got to.
And I think that should probably happen in Boston.
Yeah, that's a shout. Yeah. That is a shout. Like, I mean, they might have booked it already in terms of location.
I don't think they've announced it yet. So so
it's potential.
I don't think they have anyway.
But like, you just imagine the difference in it. Now you're sending in Punk to be the hero of WWE.
Yeah.
To go and get the belt back from Cena sort of thing, and he fails.
That would be magic.
Can you imagine?
Producer Ben, can you look and see if Money in the Bank has been announced for 2025, location-wise?
They're not doing it in Europe somewhere, are they?
I don't recall seeing Money in the Bank being announced yet.
I feel like it has been, but maybe I'm wrong.
Very quick mentions of these next two segments. The Usos.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Jimmy comes out without any entrance music.
No, but he joined in.
I know, he joined, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
He joined Jay's.
And the dance he was doing. Jimmy was getting in.
I think... Los Angeles.
Oh, it is?
Mm-hmm.
Into it, though. Okay.
Oh, Los Angeles is kind of another home for John Cena, kind of.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
Okay, could still work. But yeah, I mean, if they do that,
yeah,
with Punk, that'll be special. What were you saying, Jimmy and Jay?
Yeah.
He said, yeah. I think they brought him out like that because people started thinking this is going to be Joe Hendry.
Really?
Why?
Because it's Scotland. And they built it like, who's Jay going to tag with? So instead of pausing his music and then everyone thinks Joe Hendry, say his name, and like if we just send out Jimmy...
That's a great shout.
Then
it didn't give the audience a chance to boo.
Exactly.
Though, I do think it's important Jimmy's involved in this storyline because this storyline has been terrible.
Right. So this is the best moment from the entire Jay versus Gunther storyline.
I agree.
Since February 1st.
Has been Jimmy slapping Gunther.
Yeah. And Gunther's going to kill Jimmy next week.
But that's what we need.
Yes,
that's
correct.
what we need to see. Like we said, personal. It needs to be more personal.
Correct. It needs to be more personal. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Because Jay accidentally said he was 3-0 with Gunther. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
He said that to Jimmy, and then afterwards, Michael Cole went, "He's 0-3." Is what he meant.
That's embarrassing, man.
And then, did you see him slip over again?
Yeah.
In the ring?
Yeah.
Which I didn't really understand because I guess they built it into the story that you can't have those moments. But then Jay stood tall against Gunther last week.
He slipped though.
He slipped this week.
Did he not slip during when he stand tall? Or was
not
that
last
that was
week,
a different day, isn't
he
it?
beat the crap out of Gunther last week and then stood up with the title.
Yeah, but last week he jumped over the ropes and slipped over the ropes.
Oh, when he done that.
So they're trying to they're trying to incorporate it. Like even though he's fighting, he's still very much
I see what you mean.
He's very insecure.
Yeah.
Like Gunther still got to his
mind
head.
games.
Yeah. Which I like. Like
that
little things like that and building on things that actually happened accidentally, building that into the storyline I like. So yeah, Gunther will face Jimmy next week after he saved Jay from yet another unprovoked, ridiculous attack from Gunther. I don't understand why Gunther keeps attacking
Jay.
It just doesn't make any sense. So, but yes, I think if Gunther is absolutely horrendous to Jimmy next week, then that at least Jay has something to avenge as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Io Sky, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, they had a brawl. To me, it felt like a repeat of what we saw and have been seeing for the last few weeks.
It was.
Indulge me just for 1 second, yeah. And I don't think this is going to happen.
Consider yourself indulged.
Thank you. But I think as like a bit of fantasy booking, I think Io Sky should beat Rhea Ripley next week with maybe the help of Bianca Belair as the special guest referee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because Io Sky beats Rhea Ripley. That's what Io Sky does. And
oh yeah, she's never beat Io. Okay.
yeah. And then obviously we go off to WrestleMania, Io versus Bianca. It would mean, very ballsy, that Rhea Ripley is not at WrestleMania, and run vignettes of her being up in the crowd watching this women's match happen, and she's absolutely peed off. I know it's very hard to believe, but it's the longer story of building to Rhea versus Bianca next year at Mania and making that a main event.
Oof.
Like,
it's not happening.
It's not going to happen, I know, because they'll make it a triple threat.
But it's interesting.
But I think you need to really put Rhea in jeopardy here and be like, well, Rhea wins the belt back next year, but it's like, this is her story now.
But what could also lead up to Bianca? Because I do agree with you that I do think it's going to be Rhea Bianca next year. But it's a triple threat, so Rhea doesn't have to lose a pin to Bianca, or you know what I mean. Io could get pinned for Bianca to become the new women's champion, which could also lead on to the fact that you haven't beaten me, Bianca. That kind of thing. So they can use that as well. I just don't see them take.
They won't do it. They won't. Rhea is far much of a big star.
She's the biggest women's star.
Yeah, she's the biggest.
In that whole
roster. She could do a John Cena and just sit in the crowd for Mania.
That was classic. I guess. I remember we were there. Undertaker.
Yeah.
That was classic.
That was horrendous. It was absolutely
Cena's done some things that Mania that is just hilarious. Like that.
I'm just going to enjoy Mania as a fan because I love you guys, but in a couple of years I'll hate you for no reason whatsoever.
It's true. It doesn't make sense. And then he jobbed to Taker as well. He didn't really have any offense against.
Oh, it's dreadful.
It was a quick match, wasn't it?
It was a quick match.
Horrendous.
And then the Fire Funhouse was one of my favourite things that Cena's done at Mania as well.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
That was good. El Grande Americano defeated Dragon Lee. Now we are talking.
Okay, so you really like this?
I am all over this.
Okay.
This is my cup of tea. Now, when I say it's my cup of tea, it's not my cup of tea generally, but I am just such a big fan of Chad Gable.
Good banter.
Like, it's so funny. He is going to do this so well. I think the name El Grande Americano is hilarious. I know Chad's behind it. I think his gear's hilarious. I think the vignette they did was brilliant.
Yep.
Making out that he's some legend.
Yep.
And
they used AI, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
And Michael Cole was like, Google knows everything, and there was nothing on this guy.
Yeah.
Like, I just think it's interesting, it's different, it's putting Chad under the spotlight in maybe not the way we all saw, but at least it's something.
And the match was incredible.
And it was, I wouldn't say incredible,
but
it was a very good
match.
match. And he ripped Dragon Lee's mask off.
Yeah.
What are you going to say, Max?
So I was watching the Raw Recap podcasting that they've started doing, and they were obviously debating who was behind the mask sort of thing. This is Biggie, right? I know Chad Gable's body. I've seen that man in many locker rooms and many wrestling rings. I could pick that body out of a lineup of 1,000 men, and don't make it weird, okay? Don't make it weird. I know who that is. And don't insult my intelligence by telling me it's anyone other than Chad Gable. Let's stop this whole charade. Let's take this man out the mask. I know who you are. Let's end this. All of it. Every little bit of it. Let's kill it right now. Let's be done with it, okay? I know every square inch of his body. I know how it all lays out. I see how the lats taper to the waist. Okay? It wasn't intentional, okay? I spent a lot of time around half-naked men and also naked men. This was not what I intended when I started out in this journey, but it's a byproduct of this profession, okay?
That is hilarious.
Big E.
I knew you would enjoy
What
that.
an absolute legend. I absolutely love Big E. I just think it's funny. I think
it's good banter.
I think it's good. And David Cook emails. He says, "Hi guys, just a quick point regarding Meksz's opinions on Chad Gable's comedy shtick, placing a glass ceiling on him being a future main eventer. I'd like to bring up Sami Zayn. He literally went from the brilliance of the match with Johnny Knoxville through accidentally becoming the hottest story in the Bloodline to being a genuine main eventer. I say accidentally because the whole thing with the Bloodline was getting them to break. His whole thing with the Bloodline was getting them to break character on screen. That just evolved into him becoming honorary use. Thoughts? Keep up the excellent work. Day one-ish, Davey Boy Cook." It's a great point. And I think we've said it on the show. If you can do comedy well, And like actors say this as well. They say if you can do comedy well, you can do anything.
Yeah.
Because comedy is the hardest thing. And he is a special talent. And that's why I have high hopes. I just think he's doing it so well. The way he came into Adam Pearce's office and pretended he had a coughing, and he had a doctor's note so he couldn't perform. Yeah. And then he comes out as El Grande Americano. I'm all in. And when I look at this week as a whole, when I think about the lack of engaging stories, I'm like, listen, comedy or not, something is happening with Chad Gable, and I'm excited by it.
It's good stuff. I mean, just to Davey Boy's email, like, so my argument would be Sami Zayn still hasn't ascended beyond the IC title. He hasn't won anything that's bigger than that belt.
Oh, but you can put him in.
He's been involved in, obviously, main events
he's had
and
PLE
stuff.
main events. He's headlined
100%.
WrestleMania, and he can headline any episode of TV.
100%.
He's a main event star, I would say.
I agree. But if we're talking in terms of kayfabe accolades, he hasn't done anything bigger than what he already was. And Chad, although I think the absolute world of Chad, he hasn't even won a singles title before. So, yeah.
He will now, though, with this gimmick.
Listen, it's one of them things, where like I think we said this a couple of weeks ago, if you're showing The Office, you're so good at this one thing, they may just keep you there and put that ceiling on it. I don't think this is his ceiling. No. I think this is where The Office may see him if he keeps doing this kind of stuff so well like he does.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
Yeah.
Edge and Christian did this back in the day. The Conquistadors, remember that?
Yes, they did. Yeah, they did. Yeah, it's not a new gimmick.
No.
I mean, Hulk Hogan.
Even Hulk Hogan.
Did it.
Hulk Hogan did Mr. America, yeah.
But there's I just trust in Chad.
Yeah.
Tick. Tick. Yeah, I just think he's
Do you think
wonderful.
Kathy Kelly must have tweeted, "You can't spell luchador without Chad"?
I love that.
I mentioned that a couple of weeks ago.
Did you?
I said Chad door. I said that.
I put it in our newsletter.
Oh yeah,
as
you
well.
did.
Yeah.
Kathy Kelly does subscribe to our newsletter.
Does she?
Oh, big time. And you should also, listeners, subscribe to the newsletter. So head to wegp.co.uk and subscribe to the newsletter there. CM Punk promo. We've got just a few things to rattle through. I mean, I guess we've sort of covered this, really. What did he say on Raw? He was saying... that's when he was talking about bringing the Shield in.
Yeah. He talked about the fact that, again, none of them have beaten him without the other one's help and stuff like that. What I think is interesting now is the contract signing. And what's his name? CM Punk saying that he has to check this contract to make sure what he wants is in the contract. We have this favor that is still hanging over Paul Heyman's head. Also, what I've started thinking is that, we could be looking at a situation where it is contractually written and only for Punk. If Punk wins this triple threat match on main event night 1, he walks into main event night 2. I think they could be doing something like that. And that's why I feel like with John Cena's absence, we may get some Punk and Cody Rhodes promos and, just a bit of kind of teasing that, you might see me down the road sort of thing.
Yeah.
So,
Very interesting.
Very interesting.
I mean, I can't see them messing with the Cena Cody match.
Neither can I, but what is Punk insinuating here then?
Well, I mean, I just think it's more of a long-term getting a title shot if he wins this triple threat. I don't think it's necessarily a night 2 of Mania thing. Okay. I mean, I might be wrong. I'm very happy to be wrong.
If he puts this in his contract and he will sign it, and it's like, Seth Rollins in the contract is that this is a main event now, so I get my main event. Like, if this is purely just for his main event, this is a royal waste and rubbish. So I think it has to be, if they're going to use this quote-unquote favor thing now.
Disrupt something.
It's got to be something bigger at play.
Yeah. Bron Breakker defeated Penta by DQ, right? Because Judgment Day got involved. Judgment Day are trying to persuade Penta to join them.
Or Dom Mysterio is at very least.
Dom is, but then there's still underlying beef between Finn and Dom.
Yeah.
Are we going a multi-man?
Yep.
I think so.
IC title match at Mania.
The reports say that as well. It's looking like
and then
Finn,
probably a multi-man US title.
Yeah. It's poor.
And nothing, presumably, for the women's IC title and women's US title?
They have got to put that on WrestleMania. Like, you brought in those titles late last year, early this year. There is no way it can miss its first Mania.
Lyra Valkyria ended up being saved by Bayley this week elsewhere on TV. I don't know if we're going to some sort of tag.
Yeah,
Liv.
looking like it's going to be a tag match.
I don't know.
I'm not really a fan.
So
it's just a bit all over the place.
Yeah.
Just a bit all over the place. But nice main event on Raw. I guess my overriding feeling is, and I hope it changes, we're very far removed from that white hot WrestleMania season that we were slap bang in the middle of this time last year.
I can't remember date wise, but that Rock beating up Cody outside of his truck, like epic TV.
Well, we got that at Chamber. We got that epic TV.
Yeah.
We got that moment where it's like, oh, it is must-see TV again.
Yeah.
It is incredible.
That's true.
But then since then, it's been flat.
Yeah.
And that was, I mean, what are we? We're 26th of March. That was on 1st of March. Since then...
But even then, last year...
We haven't seen any gold.
There was, the whole point of Rock when he finally acknowledged Roman. We had the Las Vegas press conference between all of those 4 guys as well. We had the, like I just said, Rock beating up Cody. There was key bits, There was multiple key bits before we got there. And yeah, we've had the Elimination Chamber, which was so good. Will go down in history. But since then, so far, not much of anything else.
Okay.
Sorry, it's not for me this week. Sorry.
We're so sorry, listeners.
I'm so sorry, guys.
It's really funny because our sort of fan base of GP, our listeners, they love it when we're really positive and enthusiastic and passionate about it, which of course we still are. But some weeks you just have to be honest and just like, come on, things aren't great at the moment.
I'm not completely poo-pooing it, everything.
Of course not.
I just feel like, the excuse has been up to this point. We've still got a month. We've still got time. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
We are within 3 weeks now, people.
It's true.
I think at some point there needs to be
pick it up, guys. Pick
panic
it up.
stations and ask for them to pick it up a bit.
Pick it up.
Okay, should we have some final thoughts?
Yes, please.
Okay, WWE plans to blindside fans with more previously unthinkable stories. After heel Rock and heel Cena, current plans are to have a babyface Vince McMahon main event next year's WrestleMania.
Oh, gosh.
After his Blame It on the Fans promo is criticised for being a decade too late, John Cena proves once again that he's behind the times when he promises to ruin wrestling. You did that 20 years ago, mate. And following a second slip-up in 2 weeks, the accident-prone Jey Uso attends a seminar about accidents in the workplace with WWE's new health and safety officer, Titus O'Neil. Right. Mexicals, where can we find you on the social?
WrestleManiac UK on X, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube.
Skills, where can we find you?
You can follow me on all the social media platforms at Skillit World, SKILLIT World.
And you can follow me at James Delo on Instagram, but more importantly, follow the show at WWEGP on X, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Keep your emails coming in. We got to loads this week, didn't we? Hello you at WWEGP.co.uk. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Some great interview content coming up. Thanks to 2K25. YouTube.com/@WWEGP. Finally, rate and review the podcast wherever you get GP. That would really help us out. Right, thank you so much for listening. Thanks to our writer-researcher Tom Fordy and producer Ben Ramsden. This has been a Starstruck Media production. Enjoy WWE at the O2 this Friday and next Monday, and we shall see you next week.
Gorilla position.
I'm a champ!